Right, so I do have a solution for this problem. And the solution is to begin with, make the government self-sustainable. Now, there are a lot of ways in which the government can be self-sustainable by using the resources that we already have given them, by forcing the government to create cheap and good flats to rent to the normal people. It's one of the ways that the government can make profits towards becoming self-sustainable, because we all need where to live, we all need cheap living spaces, we all need to get rid of the abusive landlords who charge as much as they want, and the government cannot defend us from this unless the government become, also part of the government become owner of the flats and houses that the normal citizens can let from them. Another way of becoming, of helping or making the government self-sustainable is if the government invests in new startups, if the government invest and partners up with existing businesses to develop them further and have a percent in the gains of this company, the government can also become self-sustainable, because we all business owners, we need some more money to grow our business. All the business, the ideas for business, we all need partners to help us giving the first step out towards becoming a well-known world company, and so on and so forth. Now, some of the initiatives that are happening already in Germany is that private companies are creating labs. These labs are not other thing that big spaces where either big companies or a small group of people start buying and making different activities to purchase 3D printers and other tools that one can use to create things with, to make things with. These labs are the solution and the alternative that has been created to prototype one's product. Once the prototype of the product it has been created, then it comes out of the lab, and of course the person who had the idea then has the opportunity to connect to more financial support or different companies who are providing services such as marketing, accountancy, distribution, mass production, and so on and so forth. But there is a group already, and it's part of the European Union. The name of this group is KIK, and they work in the energy sector. They offer to partner up with any entrepreneurs, with any new ideas that have to do with the electricity or the renewables or better use for the existing energy sources. And they partner up with these new businesses, and then they take between 10 or 15% of the earnings of the company. In such a way, this initiative from the European Union grows on a self-sustainable scale. Likewise, if it's happening as a foundation or as a part of the European Union or initiative towards renewable energy, that means that there is in somewhere, in some way, and an alternative to make businesses out of the government, from the government resources, which are not other than our resources. So there is the capability and the legislation to make our government self-sustainable, so that they will start generating their own income, and they will be able to stop taking our lives and taxes and start paying it back if we carry on giving this money as support or as a loan towards the administration of our cities. Now, The first step, of course, is to put the government in check and not giving them the possibility to carry on forcing us and obliging us and threatening us to carry on paying what we are being charged for on the little services that they gave us, so that they are going to see the discontent of the population, and then they are going to they are going to have the need to look for alternatives in order to stop having the disapproval from the populace, from us, from the citizens. So we can hire the best law firm that exists for international rights and start suing of governments and start creating deals with our government in order to overcome this problematic that we are having, that the governments are taking our lives and our taxes, and they are giving us for very little support. The only way that we can do this is by putting the government in check, shaking them a bit, so that they can realize that we are tired of this exploitation, this modern slavery that we are living in. Now, of course, the English government is now trying to get out of the European Union, claiming that the responsibility is with the Britons alone. And they were also claiming that just because the country is doing well, the country shouldn't be penalized to pay more money to the European Union, just because the country is doing better and is developing itself, the economy is growing. Nonetheless, although this is the argument of David Cameron, nonetheless, when a normal British citizen gets a second job, one gets penalized just because one is growing a little more, just because one is successing a little bit more. So one is charged 40% in taxes of the second job. I sacrifice my life because I want more money, I want a better quality of life. Okay, my first job, the government is already taking 40%. 20% as income tax and 20% as tax on every pound I spend elsewhere. But nonetheless, for my second job, the government takes 40% of income tax plus 20% of every pound I spend as a taxes for all their services or goods. So 60% of the second job. Just because I am doing something else, I am getting somewhere better. So thank you very much. But of course, the argument the Prime Minister is having against the European Union is the same one of slavery and exploitation that it's applied to every English citizen in the British soil, just because we are trying to do something else to get better in our private lives. Thank you very much. Completely hypocritical. Now, if you give £2 to Water Aid, they claim that they solved the problem of the water in the world, and we have done so much charity as English people. We have helped all over the world. But I am asking you now to help yourself and to help other people to overcome this modern slavery we are living in. Give me £3 per month. And sign me a contract that I am going to send you to represent you. And I will make sure that maximum in 5 years you start to stop paying taxes as taxes, and you are going to give that money as a loan to the government, that the government gonna have to repay you that loan plus the interest that the government owes you. £3 a month, and you can make the hell of a change for you and for your children in the future. I am going to get the best lawyers that exist in the world to support this quest. And I have already contact with the startups, with